Hi there, I'm Michelle.
I'm Jim, and we are
A Tig of Your Own. Welcome to another Motivational Monday.
Let's get motivated.
Woo! Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Very nice. A little warm,
Yes.
but we'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's. I think we're moving out of this warm cycle because I know after this little stretch here for the next couple of days, then it's supposed to cool down considerably and be more seasonable.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll stay that way for the rest of the summer.
And we've received rain.
We've gotten rain. I was able to cut the grass because the grass finally greened up and
you're so excited to be able to cut grass again.
Well, considering how long it had been.
It's literally, I think it's been 2 months.
Yeah, I haven't had to cut grass almost all summer. Yeah. So believe it or not, it didn't bother me that much. Now I got to go out and do some weed trimming. And, But yeah, that's considering how long it's been this summer. This is definitely not. I used to say that I spent my summers waiting for it to stop raining so I could run outside, cut the grass before it started raining again. Not this summer. No. This one's been different.
Yep. And to our friends and family who are down there in southeast Georgia and getting rain, and to our friends in Florida who are getting rain.
Lots of rain.
You can keep it.
Yeah. we could use a little, but we don't want that.
No. So. Well, and I was looking at the long-term weather because we've got a trip coming up.
Yes, we do.
Next week we'll be coming from Orlando. We've got the Maxwell Conference next week, so we'll be doing this there in Orlando. But I was looking at the long-term forecast, and I don't think we're really going to get any rain out of the system up here. I think it's going to go too far
east.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. We've gotten plenty of rain in the last week.
We have, and we're supposed to get some more.
And it's definitely turned things around.
Yes, it has. Yeah.
I know our deck looks a whole lot better.
So we're having somebody come out and do a little bit of work on our deck because it needs to be stained.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of boards that need to be replaced or repaired. And when the guy was out here looking at it, it was a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And we still hadn't gotten any rain. And he's looking and he's like, you've got like these large areas on the deck where the boards aren't meeting. And they were literally, it was like about a ½ inch to an inch.
Yeah, they were big.
Of space in between. And he's just like, all right, obviously we need to replace these because they shrank. And so a couple days ago, we're out there and we're trying to find where it is, but because of the rain,
they're all gone.
It all puffed back up, and it's like,
I don't know.
I don't know what to do.
Stain it now, lock it all in.
Yeah, really. All right. So today we've got a quote that we're talking about, and the quote is, "I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not trying."
Yeah, because if you don't try, then you'll never know if you could actually succeed.
You'll never know. Okay, so Jeff Bezos said this. And I thought it was interesting because he is somebody who has tried a lot.
Yeah.
He's done a whole lot with his company. And it's interesting how they started, how everything has evolved over time. But like I said, he once said, "I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not trying." So the big question is, what out there have you not tried? What is that one experience that you're just like, oh, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work, or oh, I'm not ready for it, or I'm not real sure about this. Because we all have those occurrences in our life. We all have, either that action that you don't want to take, or that thing you just don't want to do, or that you keep putting off. And the question is, how long do you put it off?
Well,
before it's too late.
Yeah, hopefully you stop putting it off and do it. I guess my answer to that would be, as long as you're physically able, it's not too late.
No.
You can do it. So I know one of the things that I've always wanted to try, and I will at some point, because I've tried a variation on this, is to try my hand at stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly funny. I make her laugh on a regular basis. Sometimes
You don't always mean to.
well, I don't care why you laugh, just as long as you laugh. And I've done a couple of shows where we did stand-up comedy online, and that was interesting. That all started
during COVID.
Yeah, during COVID.
Yeah.
And so I did that a couple of times. I had a group of us that we met with a guy named Dave Schwensen, who's based out of Cleveland. Mm-hmm. And we would have, I think, usually about 8 of us, 7 or 8 of us in the show, and we'd each have 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And the first time that I did it, I told a story. It was okay. Mm-hmm. I got a few laughs. The second time that I did it, I really prepared a true stand-up comedy routine with real jokes, and it went really well. Yeah. Not two of my sisters, my only 2 sisters, they both attended. That's the great thing about doing this virtually is anybody could attend, and they were both cracking up, and they were telling me afterwards, "You should be doing this in a club. What are you doing?" And really, that's high praise coming from siblings saying things like that. But where we live, there's just not really any opportunities to do that. I've done some improv as well, and so did one improv show. And I think, at least for my part, it went well. At least a lot of people afterwards were telling me that. I'm not sure overall it was very good. And one of the things I figured out by doing the improv is I like doing it with other people who are really tuned in to what they're doing. They're dialed in to the process and the art of improv. Doing it with people who aren't committed to it, and people who have it in their minds that, and this is one of the mistakes I think our instructor gave us when he said, "You don't have to be funny." It's like, well, no, I thought that was the whole point. Let's just say things that were funny.
I think he was more concerned about the lack of creativity.
Yes.
And the reality is, you don't necessarily have to be funny, but you do have to be creative.
Yes.
And you have to think outside of the box. Right. And that's what creates the humor in the situation. Right. Is it's not necessarily something that's meant to be funny. It's funny in that context.
See, I think also part of it is, at least in my view, I could be wrong, that when you're doing something like that, especially long form like we were doing, to me, it's a little bit like playing chess. Mm-hmm. As soon as you know what you're going to be talking about, your place, your people, whatever it is. For me, my brain starts coming up with 3 or 4 things. Mm-hmm. Where can this go? And then based on the input from whoever I'm working with, then I can figure out, okay, option 2 is the better one. Option 1 is the better one. Let me go this way. And once we start down a path, then I start thinking to, what's the payoff going to be here? What potential payoff can I have? And can I move this to that payoff, or are they going to give me something where I've got to do something else? And it's a lot of fun when they give me something else and I have to figure it out. But I'm fast enough to come up with it. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. And I know what's funny. Mm-hmm. And so I felt really good about my performance. I felt okay about the overall performance. I had some good lines.
Yes. But the point is, you want to get out there and try it.
And I tried it and I figured out improv and not so much. Maybe if it's short form, like you see on Whose Line Is It Anyway? That would be right up my alley. Long form, not quite as much. But with the stand-up, that I really love because it's all me. And it was all, on me. And cool thing is, Dave gave us some suggestions from people that he had known, and he talked about the way George Carlin used to do things. And yeah, I could, I haven't been doing that, but if I was in a position where I knew I was going to be able to start performing, I would do that. I would do exactly what he was doing, without all the curse words.
Yes. So
the other thing that was driving me crazy about the improv groups is just so much cursing, and I never like that because it's a crutch.
Well,
it's weak, and I just don't like it.
And the reality is, the people that we're trying to serve are companies and organizations, and there's a need for comedy and organizations, and to bring in a humorous person who has a message.
Yes.
And so to do that, you need to have clean comedy.
Right.
And
all of mine is clean.
Yeah,
all of mine is clean. So that's one of the things that I want to do at some point is get to a place where there are, open mics or, comedy clubs where I can, try to get in there and give it a try. Yeah. Even at my age, there's people out there that are older than me that are what?
So you were complaining because you shaved right before we went live.
Yes.
And you hadn't shaved all weekend.
No, I didn't shave all weekend.
And he's saying to me, oh, I could just, if we wait a few more days, it'll grow out into this beard, and I'll have this very gray, silvery beard, and then you can say I'm old. And I'm like, you're already old. I don't have to wait for that to happen.
Yes, but if I had the nice silvery beard, I'd look like Michael Malley in Snowpiercer, and look old. I'd have the same haircut, have the nice bushy beard. Yeah, why not?
You're already old.
Okay, so. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
But my point is, there are people out there that are older than me
That's true.
They actually have successful stand-up comedy careers, and they started late. Some of them started later, or it's a case of they've been at it for so long that they've just reached that point, and audiences don't seem to have an issue. Yeah. It used to be back and again, I think George Carlin managed to break that mold, because let's face it, George got old and people still showed up, and and it's really interesting because I can't hardly remember a time ever seeing George Carlin when he didn't look old. And but that's one of the things I want to do, and I will once we're, like I said, got to find the location. There's not much of a stand-up comedy scene in Pittsburgh. You got the Improv, but that's for headliners.
And what's interesting is you would think with a city this size that there would be.
No, there's not.
And there's not.
There's not. I mean, there's some group that they do stand-up comedy. Yeah. Because I know we've seen them that come out to our area. Yeah. But that's one of the things for me, and that is something that I will do. Other thing I want to do is I like playing music. I'm not terribly good in my view. I'm okay on bass and guitar, kind of shaky, but I'm pretty good on bass. And one of these days, I want to perform with a band, with a rock band. I want to get on stage and rock out. And that's another thing, getting in the right place where I've got the time and can find the people and do it. And not find crazy people who seem to think they still have a shot at becoming big, music superstars. No, I just want to go play.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting is last week we had dinner with one of our friends who is in a band.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Chuck, who used to live out this way. He grew up out here, lived out here. We met him through Toastmasters. He moved out to Denver. And while he was here, he was in a cover band.
Yes.
And we would go see them. He's now out in Denver, and he's in a Guns N' Roses tribute band.
Yes, right? He is. He's playing. He started out playing the Izzy Stradlin role because it's the Guns N' Roses original version. Yeah. So with Izzy Stradlin on rhythm guitar and Steven Adler on drums, and of course Slash and Duff and Axl. So he started out in the Izzy role. But I remember when he posted that, I'm going, he's a lead guitar player. What's he doing? Yeah. Playing, doing the role of a rhythm guitar player, which he could do it. I mean, he's
very talented.
In the band that he was in here, he was the only guitar player. Yeah. So he had to play. He had to do both the rhythm and the leads. But I think he's just better as a lead guitarist. He's good. And he told us when we met him last week that he has moved into the Slash role now. So.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, years ago, he had put together a video for Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah, he did.
Because they had asked for video submissions. They were looking to expand their musicians.
It was some kind of contest.
Yeah, and he submitted one while he was playing guitar while on his skateboard going back and forth on a half pipe.
Yep.
And he wasn't chosen as the winner, but he got tickets to go see TSO, and he got to go backstage and meet them, and they remembered him.
Yes, they remembered him.
And they're like, "You're the guy from the skateboard."
Yeah, you're the guy with the skateboard.
So now he's thinking, because he's out there in Denver, he's thinking about doing something different, and he may be snowboarding with his guitar. Yeah. And I was just like, oh.
On a half pipe, I'm guessing. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to see that video.
So yeah,
but that's something he wants to try. And perfect.
That's what he does. Yeah. And so the interesting thing, we were talking to him, and when he first moved out there, he was working with one company, left them, went to work for another one, and actually moved into a different apartment since he first moved out there. But part of the reason why he moved out there was because he wanted a different lifestyle. He wanted to be able to go snowboarding. He wanted to be able to go hiking. He wanted to be around different people. He wanted to be in a larger city where things were going on and live downtown. And so that's what he got.
Yeah.
And so he's living out. He didn't want to look back and say, "Oh, I really wish I had done this when I was younger."
Yeah, because we asked him if he's had any thoughts of coming back here, and he said, like, no, not really. He likes it out there. Yeah. And so I think he's found his happy place.
I think he has.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's really good. But think about some of the things in your life, and think about, what's going on in your life. And up till this point now, have there ever been times when you thought, oh, I really wish I had done
XYZ, whatever it is.
It may not necessarily be like, now there are some opportunities that may only come around once, and you have to take.
Right. You have to do it, or it'll be gone.
It'll be gone. And then you will regret it later on in life.
Yeah.
So take a look at some of the opportunities that you have in your life right now. Take a look at some of the goals you have. Take a look at some of the dreams that you have. And ask yourself, what am I doing to move closer to them? What am I doing to actually go out there and live that life that is my dream? And if you're not taking the actions, if you're not moving closer, why? What's holding you back? What is preventing you from going out there and living and taking those chances? Because like the quote says, maybe you fail, maybe you don't, but you don't want to get to the end and say, oh, I really wish I had done that. Okay? You don't want to regret not trying. That's not what you want in your life. So
figure it out and go for it.
Figure it out and go for it.
That's when I was still teaching, that was one of the things that I would have students that would approach me, and they'd say, "Oh, I'm getting my degree in accounting, I'm getting my degree in marketing, whatever it is, blah blah blah," and they say, "And my parents want me to go. I got this job offer from XYZ company, but my real dream is I want to go do this other thing." And I would tell them every time. My parents probably hated this, but I'd say, "Go do that other thing," because you've only got a limited amount of time on some of these to pursue that. Go try that first. If that doesn't work out, you can always go back to work. People will hire you. People will hire you. But if you don't try this other thing, you'll always wonder, could I have done it? Could I have been successful? And keep in mind that if you try this other thing that you really want to pursue, number one, that's your passion. That's what you want to do. And number two, what if you are successful?
Yeah.
Then you don't even have to worry about that degree becomes your fallback if something, if it completely doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But if it does work out, great. Maybe you can find some other way to apply what you learned in the degree program. So, and I know some folks, and I know everybody that works in education just went, no, you're not really telling them that, are you? It's like, yeah, I used to tell them that all the time.
He would also tell them that in kinder words, they were wasting a whole bunch of money by going to an expensive school for their first 2 years.
Well, yeah, that's true too. Yeah, and that's because there was a much less expensive alternative right across the road, where they could take, there were 60 credits they could take, and it would all transfer right over. And yep,
Administration didn't know about that,
thank
and
goodness they probably would have fired me if they knew, or said, "Come in and talk to us. What are you doing?"
Yeah. However, you regret nothing. Nope. So, if you have one of these dreams, if you have a vision for your life, and you've got these goals, and you're not sure what steps you need to take, because that happens. In your mind, you're just like, "Ooh, this is what I want to do," and then you're just like, "Oh," and everybody always tells you, don't worry about the how; it'll happen. Sometimes, though, you need to put a little bit of thought into the how. How are you going to do this? And so that's where we can come in, and we can actually help. So if you need help figuring out, how am I going to make this dream come true? How am I going to reach this goal? How am I going to create this life that I want, and do this thing that I want to do? Reach out to us. And how can they reach out to us? How?
They can call us.
Yep.
There's our phone number, 412-420-7975. Excuse me. They can send us an email, info@ateagueofyourown.com. Oh, also on the phone number, you can call us and we'll pick it up and talk to you. You can also send us a text message. Info@ateagueofyourown.com. So send us an email. Go to our website, ateagueofyourown.com. And we are on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and we have a YouTube channel, and all of these videos are on that channel. If you go to our channel, and I highly recommend it, please like us and subscribe.
Yes.
Like us on all of them, and then subscribe on YouTube.
Who wouldn't want to like us?
Yeah,
right?
We're likable people.
We are. Yeah.
Try to be.
Come hang out with us on Mondays.
We're fun.
We are. So. Oh man! All right, so let us know what dreams it is that you are working towards. What is it that you don't want to regret doing? What do you want to make sure that you get to the end of your life and you're just like, yes, I did everything that I wanted to do. That you don't look back and say, oh, geez, I really should have done.
I should have tried that.
So if you need help with that, feel free to reach out to us. Next week, like I said, different background next week, because we'll be in a different place.
Yep.
And we'll be with some of our friends down in Orlando for the Maxwell Conference. So let us know what we can do to help you. Reach out to us, and we will see you later. Bye. Everyone.